WNBA finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, it's obviously.
It is finally happening. The news that every Caitlin Clark fan has been waiting for since the moment she stepped onto a professional court is officially breaking. And the fallout is going to change the WNBA forever. We are talking about the reported resignation of Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, a move that insiders say is practically a done deal. And it is not a coincidence that this is happening at the exact same moment Caitlin Clark is signing a historic game-changing update to her Nike contract. It looks like the war between the old guard and the new queen of basketball is finally over, and the winner is undeniable. But to understand why the commissioner is reportedly packing her bags and why Nike is backing up the Brinks truck for Caitlin, we have to look at the secret conversations, the leaked audio, and the absolute chaos that has been unfolding behind the scenes for the last 24 months. This isn't just about basketball anymore. This is about power, jealousy, and the biggest fumble in sports history. Let's get right into the fire. Reports are circulating from high-level sources within the sports business world that Cathy Engelbert is negotiating her exit strategy. This comes after a tumultuous year where the league's popularity skyrocketed. But the leadership seemed to be actively fighting against the very person responsible for that growth. The breaking point, a massive, undeniable power move by Nike. While the WNBA was busy debating whether Caitlin Clark was great or just popular, Nike decided to end the debate entirely. They have just unveiled the next phase of her signature partnership, a deal that some insiders are valuing at nearly double the original $28 million figure we heard about back in 2024. This new deal, effectively a lifetime alignment with the brand, includes the massive From Anywhere global campaign and the official rollout of her signature shoe line, which is projected to outsell current NBA stars merchandise by a 3:1 margin. Nike looked at the numbers. They looked at the fan base, and they realized that Caitlin Clark isn't just a WNBA player. She is a global economy unto herself. And this massive vote of confidence from the biggest sports brand on earth made the WNBA leadership look small, petty, and arguably incompetent. But why now? Why is the commissioner reportedly stepping down right as the money is rolling in? The answer lies in a shocking report regarding a hot mic moment, or as some are calling it, the ungrateful leak. According to rumors swirling around the league offices, there was a closed-door meeting late this season discussing revenue sharing and player marketing. During this meeting, it is alleged that Commissioner Engelbert made a comment suggesting that Caitlin Clark and her camp should be grateful for the platform the WNBA provides, insinuating that without the league's infrastructure, Caitlin would just be a girl with a basketball. This comment, which reportedly leaked back to players and agents, was the match that lit the powder keg. Imagine telling the woman who single-handedly brought private charter flights, sellout crowds, and millions of new eyeballs to your league that she should be thanking you. It was a level of disconnect that even the team owners couldn't ignore. The owners, who are finally seeing their franchise values skyrocket, realized that having a commissioner who seems resentful of the league's biggest asset is bad for business. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. And right now, Caitlin Clark is feeding everyone. You have to look at the timeline to see how we got here. Go back to 2024. Caitlin enters the league. And instead of rolling out the red carpet, the league leadership allowed a narrative of hostility to fester. We saw the hard fouls, the cheap shots, and the constant media disrespect from legends of the game. Through all of that, where was the commissioner? Silence. When Caitlin was getting body checked to the floor by Chennedy Carter, the league took days to upgrade the foul. When coaches were banning media members for asking valid questions, the leadership was nowhere to be found. This passive approach created a toxic environment where it felt like it was Caitlin Clark versus the world. Fans picked up on this immediately. The comment sections were flooded with people asking, why does the WNBA hate its own savior? That sentiment didn't go away. It grew. And now, in late 2025, with the ratings holding steady only because of number 22, the Board of Governors seems to have decided that enough is enough. They need leadership that leans into the Clark effect, not leadership that tries to humble it. And then there is the Nike factor. You cannot overstate how embarrassing this new Nike deal is for the WNBA's old guard. The WNBA max salary is still a fraction of what Caitlyn makes in a single Instagram post. When Nike comes out and treats her like the female Michael Jordan, giving her a custom logo, a massive marketing budget, and essentially the keys to the kingdom, it highlights just how far behind the WNBA actually is. Nike is acknowledging reality. Caitlyn is a generational superstar. The WNBA, on the other hand, has spent 2 years trying to convince us that everyone is a star. That participation trophy mentality doesn't work in pro sports. Nike knows that stars drive sales. The NBA exploded because of Magic, Bird, and Jordan. The WNBA has the potential to explode because of Clark, but only if they stop pretending she is just one of 144. The rumors of Angelbert's resignation signal that the money people, the billionaire owners, are finally ready to adopt the Nike strategy. Push the superstar, and everyone else gets paid off the overflow. There is also the element of the jealousy narrative that has plagued the league. We've seen former players like Cheryl Swoops constantly try to qualify Caitlyn's records, saying things like, she takes 40 shots a game, or implying her success isn't valid. This energy has seeped into the league's operations. Sources say the friction between the commissioner's office and the Indiana Fever organization has been palpable. The Fever are the cash cow. They travel to sold-out arenas. Their merchandise sales dwarf the other 11 teams combined. Yet, there were reports that the league was hesitant to give them too many prime-time slots or too much marketing focus because they didn't want to upset the other teams. This equity approach backfired. Fans want to see Caitlyn by trying to suppress the Clark mania to keep things fair. The commissioner failed her primary job to grow the game. You don't grow the game by hiding your best product. You grow it by putting it on every billboard in America. Nike just did that. The WNBA failed to do that. And that is why one leader is getting a promotion and the other is likely getting a severance package. Let's talk about the players' reaction to all of this. You might think the rest of the league would be happy to see the commissioner go, but it's complicated. The ungrateful leak didn't just offend Caitlyn. It offended everyone who understands their value. Players like Nafis Collier and Breanna Stewart, who started their own league unrivaled to make up for the lack of WNBA salaries, have been vocal about needing a league that prioritizes player marketing. If the commissioner thinks the biggest star in the world should just be grateful to be there, what does she think of the role players? It signaled a lack of respect for the talent. The players know that Caitlyn is the reason charter flights became mandatory. They know she is the reason the salary cap is going to go up in the next CBA. If the leadership is beefing with the golden goose, the other players start to worry about their own eggs. The locker room chatter has shifted from jealousy of Caitlyn to realizing that Caitlyn's fight against the league office is actually their fight, too. If she wins, they all win. The resignation, if and when it is officially announced, will likely be framed as a mutual decision or a retirement. But do not be fooled by the PR speak. This is a ouster. This is the result of a power struggle between the past and the future. The past is the WNBA, where players made $70K a year and played in rec centers. The future is the WNBA, where Caitlyn Clark has a $50 million Nike deal and plays in NBA arenas. Kathy Engelbert did a lot of good things for the league. She did secure the capital raise. She did steer the ship through the early 2020s, but she represents the era of survival. The league is no longer in survival mode. It is in expansion mode. It needs a wartime CEO, someone who is aggressive, media-savvy, and unafraid to upset the status quo to maximize profit. The rumors that names like Kaya Clark or even outside disruptors are being considered for the role proves that the owners want a complete culture shift. They want someone who looks at Caitlyn Clark and sees an opportunity, not a headache. We also have to discuss the timing of the Nike announcement. It is not accidental. Nike is a strategic beast. Dropping the news of the contract restructuring and the massive From Anywhere campaign right as the league enters its offseason. Turmoil is a flex. It is a signal to the marketplace. Nike is saying we are betting the house on her. It makes the WNBA look foolish for hesitating. It puts pressure on the league to get their house in order before the spring 2026 season tips off. Nike wants their signature athlete playing in a league that functions at a high level. They don't want their $50 million star dealing with amateur hour scheduling, bad officiating, or a hostile commissioner. By boosting Caitlyn's value, Nike is effectively forcing the WNBA to level up. It's a proxy war, and Nike has way more ammunition than the WNBA league office. Let's dig deeper into the ungrateful comment, because this is the emotional core of the story. Why does that word trigger such a massive reaction? Because for decades, female athletes have been told to be grateful for whatever scraps they get. Be grateful you have a league. Be grateful anyone watches. Caitlin Clark represents the end of that mindset. She doesn't need to be grateful for a league that relies on her. She is the one generating the leverage. When the commissioner reportedly used that language, it revealed a deep-seated mindset that the institution is more important than the talent. That is the same mindset that the NCBBA had before NIL. It's an archaic way of thinking. Caitlin Clark doesn't work for the WNBA. In many ways, the WNBA works for her brand right now. She brings the leverage. When she goes to a golf tournament, the ratings spike. When she goes to a baseball game, the announcers talk about her. She is bigger than the shield. The commissioner failing to recognize that shift in power dynamics is exactly why she lost the locker room and ultimately the confidence of the board. What does this mean for the future? If Angel Bird is out, the next commissioner walks into a gold mine, but also a minefield. The first job will be to repair the relationship with the Fever and the Clark camp. You can expect the next leader to be photographed with Caitlin immediately. You can expect a massive push for the 2026 season opener to be the biggest spectacle in league history. We will likely see the schedule optimized even further to put Caitlin on TV every single night she plays. The fairness doctrine will be thrown out the window in favor of the ratings doctrine. And honestly, that is what needs to happen. The NBA didn't hide Jordan to make the Utah Jazz feel better. They rode Jordan to global dominance. The WNBA is finally realizing they have to do the same. This resignation is the removing of the bottleneck. It is the dam breaking. And what about the haters, the media pundits, and the old school players who spent the last 2 years taking shots? They are suddenly very quiet. The Nike deal shut them up. It is hard to argue that Caitlin is overrated when the smartest marketing company in the world is investing tens of millions of dollars into her brand. Money talks, and the BS walks. The resignation of the commissioner is the final validation that the Clark era is not a fad. It is the new standard. Those who couldn't adjust to it are being left behind. We are seeing a changing of the guard in real time. The toxicity of the 2024 season, the racial discourse, the jealousy, it all stemmed from a system that wasn't ready for a superstar of this magnitude. Now the system is breaking and reforming around her. The new deal from Nike also includes some fascinating details that have leaked. We are hearing about a global tour clause, meaning Nike wants to take Caitlin to Europe and Asia to promote the shoe. This puts pressure on the WNBA schedule. Will the league accommodate this? A smart commissioner would. A smart commissioner would realize that Caitlin selling shoes in China or France brings fans back to the WNBA. The old leadership might have seen that as a distraction. The new leadership will see it as free marketing. This is the fundamental difference in philosophy that is driving these changes. It is about thinking big versus thinking small. The WNBA has thought small for 28 years. Caitlin Clark thinks big. Nike thinks big. The two of them together are dragging the league into the big leagues, whether the commissioner likes it or not. Let's not forget the fans in all of this. The fans are the ones who drove this change. By buying the jerseys, tuning into the games, and flooding social media, you force the league's hand. If nobody watched, the commissioner could have kept the status quo. But because millions of you tuned in, the discrepancy between the product and the leadership became undeniable. You noticed the bad refs. You noticed the weird scheduling. You noticed the lack of promotion. You voiced that frustration. This potential resignation is a victory for the fan base. It is an admission that the customer is right. The customer wants Caitlin Clark. They want high-level basketball. And they want a league that acts like a professional entertainment product, not a gate-kept club. So, as we watch the ticker for the official announcement, remember that this is more than just a job change. This